All right, we are now recording the Kentucky Derby weekend edition of the Midweek. Are you done? Are you settled in?
No, I'm not. I'm the whole coronation thing's got me amped up.
The whole coronation's got you amped up.
Yes,
Okay.
I was thinking who would schedule the coronation, the Kentucky Derby, and something else on the same weekend. That's what I was thinking.
What else got scheduled this weekend?
I don't know. There's a Formula One race in Miami. I don't know, something like that. Because I was thinking, man, if I was rich and famous, how would you decide which one you would go to? I would go to the coronation before anything. But
really, before the Kentucky Derby?
Oh my gosh, the Derby's all the time. Heck yes.
You know, I saw next year's the 150th anniversary of the Kentucky Derby, and I thought, man, that would be.
We should do a live podcast from.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about getting tickets or anything about how to get there.
They're probably sold out already.
They're probably sold out. Maybe I could ride a horse. I don't know. Maybe I could ride a horse.
You know, I seen a horse in the coronation that could put in the Kentucky Derby because it was going crazy.
Oh, really? Huh? Really? I didn't watch much. I saw some of the stuff yesterday, and they were doing communion and the Lord's Prayer. And I thought it was like just going to church. Like, what's this? You know, what's that got to do with him being?
Well, I think at the time the King of England was the king of the head of the church too, right?
Maybe, but how long ago was that?
You need to figure out your world history, especially your British history, because we are a subservient of that, you know. Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't not anymore.
They don't call it the King James Bible for nothing.
No, good point. Good point.
You know?
We're practicing exactly what they want us to, right?
I don't know that I think there's certain characteristics they would want you to or not do. I don't know.
Well, so do you think? So, what's his official title? King Charles what? The something? The first?
I guess. I mean, I think there'd be a heck of a lot of Charles throughout the years, hadn't there?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't recall any. But I'm not big on the crown. I mean, maybe R.C. Cola, that crown, but not the crown. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like, it was funny. Our buddy Todd that comes on the show every now and then.
Uh-huh.
I talked to him the other day. We were both heading to work, and he was just really bothered about what was going on with the crown. And I'm like,
why?
Of all the things, this bothers you? Like, well, why does this bother you? Like, there's so many things that he does every week that bothers me whenever for some of the stuff that we have to do. And he was just really bothered that they were going to, like, do this whole coronation thing. And he goes, I don't know. There's just something about the English crown that bothers me. And see, I seem to recall when we were kids, he had a huge crush on Princess Diana, which many young gentlemen of our generation did, probably.
I guess.
And I think, I don't want to. Come on. I know the...
behind Charlie's Angels, and I'm just thinking of all the back when we were kids. Budweiser had. I was thinking of all those posters my brother had that had all those swimsuit models when they were females, and Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Kathy Ireland. There was so many. How would you pick out her? Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's just because of her profile. I mean, Cindy Crawford.
He's one of them. He's one of them guys.
Yeah, maybe.
He's into the power.
Kind of superficial a little bit, I think, maybe. I don't, he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he can't hear that and get mad at me. But, I think he was disappointed at the time that maybe Princess Di married such an ugly dude, and it was just because of his status, and I think that probably bothered him. I don't know. Just my opinion. I don't know. Prince Charles might be a great guy. I don't know. I don't think he was. I don't think he really is.
I think it was one of them arranged deals, wasn't it?
Well, wasn't it because the real love of his life, Camilla, was divorced, or was she married?
I think she was divorced, or something. It doesn't matter. In today's world, does it really matter?
No, but that's.
I mean, if he was a stud, he would have done it. 500 years ago, he'd have rode over there with his horse and cut the husband's head off and rode back to the castle with her. Nobody said shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more than likely. Yes. Yeah, I can't argue
but
that.
Now we have watered down society to whatever it is now, bunch of weeks. I don't know. The Harry thing really bothers me that he's got such a mess going on. You know what I mean?
Now, do you think that's all his wife's doing?
Yes, I think he is an emotionally weak individual.
Okay.
Who got
a manipulative.
Yep. It is probably the first. I got a friend of mine that says it is the first woman that probably treated him like shit. And he didn't know, you know what I mean? And because he didn't know any better, right?
And he liked it.
Well, he just assumed that. I don't know. I don't know that he liked it or not, but I'm just saying that I would have handled things a lot different if I would have been in his shoes. I'm sure you would have too. When you had the pick of the litter, the European continent, you got this. Come on, man.
Hey, remember, I'm approaching.
She's a good-looking old gal. I mean, you put her in any trailer park down here in the South, and she's a winner. But come on, dude, you're heir to, even if you're ninth in row, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't see. Well, I was going to say Patrick Mahomes, but his wife's kind of simple too. I don't know.
But look, from what I see, and it's kind of shaped that way. Patrick Mahomes' wife seems like might be a little. I don't want to say crazy. That's a strong word. Strong-willed. Maybe she's a little strong-willed too. But I think there's some of that's good to an extent. But,
Well, the problem is you ride horses much.
No, I just own them, but I don't ride them.
Okay. What kind of horse does your daughter got? I don't know. What kind of Lizzie? What does she got? What does she?
She got quarter horse, American quarter horse.
Okay. So have you ever been around these walking horses or some of these trotters?
I've seen them.
And some of these real high-strung horses, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's people that like that high-strung temperament. The problem is you've got to always be riding them. Does that make sense? You can't just can't put your hands on the horn and relax. You know what I mean? If you want a trail horse, you get a trail horse. But people are enamored by these things, and the first thing to do is when they get on there is pull the reins back, trying to hold them back. Does that make sense? Because
yes, and all I know is what you just said. Nita's going to be listening, and she's going to write this down. You got to always be riding.
Because
she's going to say that's a quote for.
You can't put on the cruise control. So.
Gotta always be riding
with the high-strung ones, huh?
You gotta always be riding.
Yes, you can't. Mm-hmm.
Always be riding. Mm-hmm. Which, speaking of that, the quotes, I think Nita's getting ready. Nita has been working super hard. I did all I could do for the merch line.
Right.
Nita's been super hard getting ready to roll it out. This has become a true behind the scenes team effort for the podcast. Like it's got to the point where I can't handle some of the stuff anymore. I've tried for a long time to keep it simple because the judge, he does some stuff. Me and you are always recording episodes. I can't handle all the social media stuff, and now trying to set up the merch
empire.
Do our social media and get ready for Monster Fest, and not to mention throw a wedding in there, And,
that's your own fault. Besides, you don't have to do anything but show up. Your old lady's running it all, right?
I know, but I got to go pick the flowers up and take them to the, and get there, and I don't know. I still don't know what
get there. Can't you just ride with her?
No, she's going a couple days early. They're going a couple days early to make sure everything's ready, and I got to work till Thursday. So Thursday night, it's the whole big thing. I got to go pick up the flowers, put them because it's like we're going an hour and a half away where we're going to do the ceremony.
Right.
So I got to put the flowers in a cooler with some ice packs and get them there, and so they look nice. Because the flower place don't want to give us flowers and then have them go to crap. And then have everybody see them and say, "Hey, where'd you get your flowers from?" And and because a lot of people will be from the area, so they were concerned that we were going to screw up their flowers. So I'm going to try not to do that. So, but yeah, I got to just basically get myself there. But that right there is quite a task, to be honest with you.
Why couldn't you get them somewhere closer?
We just want to, we're going out of town to do this, but we want to support local people, best we can, So
how come you get married right there in town? Last time didn't work out.
Yeah, we probably wanted to get some different coordinates on the.
Sorry. That sounds bad luck for you.
Look, you got the invitation, right? You saw what Christy said. You saw what Christy said. No gifts because you probably gave them the first time around.
I didn't know that was for yours or hers.
Both. That was for both. That was a directive to both sides. But anyways, back to the merch. Yes. So Nita's going to start. If you keep a watch out on our social media, our merch line will be rolling out. There's going to be some. From what I hear, there's going to be some the opportunity to own some Howler quotes on either T-shirts or coffee mugs or something. So I'm interested. She listens to every episode and listens to the feedback.
How does she decide what to pick out?
I think it's pretty it stands out like a sore thumb. when you say something that needs to be saved, and plus a lot of our fans hear you say something and it's like the best thing they've ever heard. So, and I can't argue with them. I mean, you have some good ones, and I know it's not calculated. That's just the way you express yourself. So, so that'll be coming out pretty soon. And then the winner of the first
Ice Auger giveaway
in May is none other than one of our, and I will call him a super fan. I think you'll enjoy that. Is Mr. Ryan Smith. So Ryan, when you hear this, send me a message with your address, and we'll get it sent your way. He's pretty excited. I think. I mean, he's excited. As excited as he can be.
What did he say? I want it, or what? I mean,
he said, "Throw my hat in the ring for the giveaway." Because nobody knows who gets a hold of me first. But he was. So
did you have very many people?
There was quite a few. Now keep in mind. Now, of course, I had written down that I thought the first person would be our buddy Mike in Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
And he even sent me a message. He goes, "I bet you guessed it was going to be me." And I said, "Yes, you know. And I think he invited us up to experience a curling match.
And he said, "I don't ice fish," or what did he say?
I don't really. He didn't really mention that. I think Mike in Manitoba is already a man of means, and he's already got what he needs.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed that Ryan probably is going to get into ice fishing, or he just wants an autographed auger from the Howler to maybe figure. Maybe I'll turn it into some kind of cool display item. I don't know. Might become like a cool piece for his man cave or something.
Right.
Hard to say. But so I got to complain about. So I got talked into buying a MacBook, buying a new computer.
Right.
By Phil, who's producing the show. Okay. And because we're going to upgrade our sound, because my sound is not as good as everybody else's. So I'm going to get a MacBook, and we're going to get a microphone, and we're going to level up our production value. So we go get this Mac, and I hate spending money. Like I am adverse to spending money. I just don't enjoy it. And so I meet Phil over at Best Buy. He gets me this MacBook, or he doesn't get it for me, but he picks out the one I need that will do everything we need it to do. And I'm not excited because I'm not a techie guy. You're a techie. Phil's super techie. You know, I am not techie. I just want something to work when I want it to work and not aggravate me. Okay. And so I get home, I kind of set it up. Phil gets on with me that night, go through Skype. Good. I close it up. I go to get on it the next day because I'm going to take the next steps of, you know, I can't even log on to it to open up the computer.
Isn't it like your iPad, sort of?
It is. It is. And it's asking me for a password. I essentially use the same, this nonsense of every change your password. I don't want to remember 50,000 different passwords. It's not my Apple ID. It's not my usual passwords. It's not even derivative of my usual passwords. And it's not even giving me an option of forget your password. So I don't even know if somebody's already hacked into my MacBook after one day and is putting up a phony home screen for me to log in. Because I got on YouTube. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And it's not quite the same home screen because it should give you an option, forget your password, and it's not. It's not. So when we're done here and I'm done, I got to, grill some chicken here for dinner, and I'm going to sit down and calmly try again to log in, but I don't understand this technology stuff drives me nuts. Like you couldn't, like we tried for 5 minutes to get hooked up because your audio.
It wants to update. It's got a little thing up here wanting me to update it. I'm like,
it's insane. When's it going to stop? Like
when the flash comes, when the chai comes, do that EMP and get it over with. Then we'll go right back to
sticks and rocks and
I don't even know what. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. I haven't decided if I'm going to fight it out or if I'm just going to give up.
I know we've talked about that, right? Like, do you want to be the lone survivor? Do you want to be Mad Max fighting over a gallon of gasoline? Or
I won't fight over them. I'll just shoot them at a distance and take their stuff. See, that's why they couldn't make a movie out of me surviving, because it would just be some bad stuff happening.
Oh, The Shootist, right? Wasn't that a movie? Was that?
Yeah, it was a John Wayne movie. He got killed. That was his last movie. And you know who his supporting actor was in that? Opie Taylor, Ron Howard.
Oh, you're right. I did. I heard an interview with Ron Howard, and he was talking about that. That was interesting. Said John Wayne liked to play chess, maybe? Like they played chess on set or something.
Chess and not checkers?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'm too busy. I can't remember. Too busy.
You can't even remember your freaking password.
No, I know. And that's sad. But that's the one thing that really aggravates me is when technology doesn't work. Because it seems like it just should. And I don't know. I have a real hard time with it because I'm not good at figuring it out. So when it doesn't work, I just feel like, okay, I'm lost, and it's never going to be good. That's all I can say. That's the one thing that gives me anxiety is when stuff doesn't work. And flying. Okay.
Why would flying bother you?
I just don't dig it. I think we talked. I mean, that trip to Utah last year, if it would have been a little bit longer, I might have been in trouble. I
don't remember what was the big deal.
I just don't, because you're up there.
Is you in the airplane with a bunch of strangers, or because of?
I don't know. There's so little control over what's going to happen, and I don't know whether that's good or bad.
When you drive down the highway in your Suburban, there's little control, right? I mean,
at least
crazy stuff could happen any second.
I know, but I feel like at least I'm I'm aware enough of what's going on. Okay, so we're driving back from, we had basketball this weekend. We're driving back from the lake. Christy and I took a little trip up to Lake Erie after basketball was done. I'm coming back, and my stepdad calls me. And because now, everywhere, the post office is delivering packages every Sunday, right? I mean, do they do it around?
That's what I hear. Yeah, I mean.
Okay. So we've been doing it for a couple of years now. But they bring all these part-time people in from different offices. So he's taking a load of something from the farm to the mill, and he passes one of our mail trucks is laying on the side in the ditch.
It's on its side, like it's running the ditch and rolled over.
Like it rolled over, laying on its side.
Well,
and so of course, it doesn't take long to get. He calls one. He tries to call me. I didn't answer. And he calls another guy.
And he's calling you. Why do you care? You're off duty. He needs to be calling the police or somebody.
Well, he said the sheriff was already there, but he's called me just to say, hey man, I think maybe your route's going to be all walking on Monday. And sure enough, it sounds like it was. They had taken my vehicle out, and somebody
that one that rattles all the time. You didn't lose nothing.
Well, some poor girl from another office, they sent her out, it sounds like, in my piece of crap mail vehicle out into the country to deliver some packages, and she got off into the berm. But it sounds like she was rolled over on her driver's side. I mean, so hopefully she's okay. They said she was. But there's nothing to those things. I mean, it's like tin can. In fact,
I'm just trying to figure out, was it a big hillside she run off of, or big ditch or something?
No, it's just a straight path of road, a straight road. There's no hills, no curves. It's across from the high school.
Right? That's usually what gets people, straight, flat roads.
Yeah, I don't know if she looked down and just got into the berm or something. So kind of crazy. I hope she's okay. I mean, a lot of people don't, you're supposed to wear your seatbelts, supposed to have the door closed. A lot of people don't, which is crazy in those things, because there's literally nothing to it. I mean, like you said, you hear mine rattle when you talk to me on the phone. It sounds like it's going to fall right apart, man.
Right.
Fall right apart. Which did you ever have, like, all your road time, did you ever have a mailman get into an accident out there on the roadway?
No.
Not even a rural carrier? Not a city carrier?
No, the rural carriers, I mean, how would they get in an accident? They get to drive on the wrong side of the car anytime. They're just putting around, out there, whatever they're doing.
We have rural carriers that have gotten blasted sitting at mailboxes.
Who blasts them?
People coming up behind them and hit them from behind.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, I could see that. That's some of them down here. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the wildest. Worked a lot of grade truck wrecks, concrete trucks. No delivery things at all. I'm trying to think. I don't ever remember mail. But back 30 years ago, the mailman's more respected because they didn't remember. They were afraid you'd go postal on them, so people stayed the hell away from you. So I don't know what's going on nowadays.
Are you saying that there's still a little respect for the mailman now that?
Well, there was some fear back in the old days, remember?
Oh yeah, I mean that was a joke. I mean,
what they'd say, you're gonna go postal. So people, hey man, they'd kind of keep away from you.
I never. I don't know if I've ever told this, but when I worked, so when my ex-wife was going to get her master's degree at Michigan, I worked at the Farmington Hills Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
I think you said that. Mm-hmm.
And I had a little office in this place called Bill Cook. They sold like Buick, Cadillac, whatever,
right?
And Audi. And there was this guy came in one day, and older black gentleman, super nice guy, and we got to talking. And at that point, I had worked as a roll carrier sub in a couple different post offices before we moved up there. This guy worked in the Royal Oak post office and was there the day of the first shooting that caused all the
postal stuff.
Yeah. And he said it was one of the scary. I think he had been in, I want to say he had been in Vietnam.
Okay.
And he said this was scary. It was way scarier because
he didn't have air support, an M16, an M60, a mortar man, fire team, dust off. Yeah, I could totally see why you would be scared. Or
yeah, and he goes, it was so like crazy because you didn't expect it to be at work at the post office and have somebody come in and start shooting. And I barely remember. I'd have to look that up, but yeah, I think it was the Royal Oak post office. I don't even remember how many people died, but he said it was crazy. And I've never forgot. I can see his face right now. The dude, can't remember his name, but I just thought that was wild to hear. And that wasn't when there was mass shooting every other day.
Yeah,
that was a
heck,
pretty
they
rare.
had a damn run through the people thing a while ago.
Run through the people. What?
Yeah, I guess there's a car that ran through a bunch of people, killed 7 or 8 of them down in Texas this afternoon.
This afternoon?
Uh-huh.
There was wasn't there just a shooting this afternoon?
That was yesterday. No, the Texas shooting was yesterday. This is today. So the guy killed as many people with his car as the Texas shooter did yesterday. But I saw a video a while ago, and I did not. I seen a video earlier, and the person that posted it was alluding to it being the video of the person hitting the people, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like he was trying to flee, like get away from the cops or something, and his shit just ran out of control, jumped the curb, and hit him. It wasn't like he did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there'll be more to the story as it unfolds, I guess. So I don't want you to think that, you know what I mean? I don't want the listeners. We pride ourselves in the best opinion on based on fact and truth, and I don't want people to think that we get the story wrong. Mm-hmm.
So I just looked this up. I don't know how many people know. Oh, this is the Royal Oak post office shooting.
16 people. How many was it?
5 deaths, including the perpetrator who killed him, who committed suicide.
Kind of rookie numbers, wasn't it? What year? 82.
Oh no, it was 9. Okay, so here you go. It was November 14th, 1991. He had a semi-automatic 22 caliber Ruger carbine.
Well, my God, he wasn't packing no heat, was he?
7 were injured, 4 by gunfire. So here's the story. The shooter was Thomas McElvain, a 31-year-old former letter carrier, former professional kickboxer, former U.S. Marine, and he had been given a general discharge from the Marines after driving a tank over a car following an argument with officers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nowadays, you get a medal, he could get a YouTube channel or get a Facebook thing, and he'd be on his way to Congress.
So McElvain,
credentials like that.
McElvain later became employed as a mail carrier, a job which he told friends was a perfect job for him because he worked outdoors with no bosses over his shoulder. Well, he did not know anything about working at the Postal Service then.
So
he was fired by the Postal Service on July 31st, 1990. Gosh, a year and a half for calling a supervisor and swearing. Some employees reported that McElvain had been singled out and written up repeatedly for baloney type things. Okay. So he filed a grievance and then pursued arbitration to get his job back. The arbitration did not take place until October of 91 and lasted 2 days. At the hearing, McElvain told a union official that if he did not get reinstated, he would make I didn't remember this. He'd make the 1986 Edmond post office shooting look like Disneyland. I don't know the Edmond post office shooting.
Yeah, they started in.
Hey, I thought this was the first one of note. One of his former supervisors pressed criminal charges for alleged threats, but McIlvaine was acquitted by a jury in early 1991. Holy smokes! So he made those threats before the arbitration, like right after, and he must have went to trial.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
So okay, here you go. So his threats were related to one of the bosses of Royal Oak, resulted in a revocation of his gun permit. Word spread to workers in Royal Oak who planned escape routes to follow if McIlvaine returned. Holy smokes! So they kind of thought this was going to happen. So in November 13th, 1991, he learned that the arbitration case had been decided against him. So prior to the attack, he left a voicemail message for one of the supervisors involved saying, "I'm going to blow everything away. I'll kill you too." Multiple requests were made by the Postal Service, the inspectors, and nothing. They didn't send any. So he went in and killed 4 workers.
So I'm going to just give you the years of the postal shootings in America. Okay.
Okay.
70, 75, 80, 83, 83, 85, 85, 86, 88, 89, 91, 91, 92, 93, 93, 94, 95, 95, 96, 97, 97, 06, 06, 06, 14, 17, 17, 17, 21, 21, and 22.
I looked at this one.
So they're not even news anymore.
No, the one in Edmond, Oklahoma.
That was 86.
That was 80. Yeah, 14 people and injured another 6.
Yep, and see that was the one that said we're going postal. It says here in my notes, but Iran had one.
Iran had a postal shooting?
The Elam province, a former employee, Mastuvazan, I can't even pronounce it, okay, killed 3 workers. Canada had one in 34. Quebec, Canada, October 30th, 1934. Rosary Belledoux, ex-carrier of the Quebec Postal Service, drove 5 of his family members out of the woods in 2 trips and killed them. He then took 8 shots at the postmaster, Morin, senior mail clerk, Moise, they're like French.
Yeah.
And a divisional superintendent, Oscar, killing one of them. So, Australia, December 17th, 1926, Adelaide, fired postal worker James Hanavan shot and killed 2 postal employees at the Adelaide General Post Office before committing suicide. And in Melbourne, they had one. So, hold on a second. I'm keep going. So we got this behavior from the Canadians and Australians. So when people start talking shit, I was reading all these articles where these people are tourists are afraid to come to America. Have you read any of them articles this week?
No, I have not seen that.
Well, that's because I read Europe newspapers, but they're talking about all the people that had all the plans to come to America, and by God, they're not going to because it's just blood running in the streets from all the deadly shootings.
Wow. Well, the post doesn't have the post office lunch.
And I just,
Well, okay. Now, wait a second. The guy in Canada killed his family.
First.
And that's it. That's all he killed.
Well, he shot the postal people, too.
Oh, he did kill. Okay.
Yeah, if you read it. Yeah, he went to work. He's probably rattled a little bit after killing the family. Couldn't calm down and
the guy in Oklahoma, he was a former Marine who was considered an expert marksman who was a member of the National Guard pistol team.
Well, there you have it.
Here's another one in Dearborn.
Why are we doing this? Why do we care? Let's talk about something good.
I don't know. Okay, what do we got that's good? Well, the good thing is that the poor girl
read some fan mail. Are you getting fan mail?
Who's trying? None that I can think of. We got.
There you go. It says it all.
We do have some good.
It says it all.
Hey, thank you to our listeners, because we've got a lot of listeners that have gone on to Apple and left 5-star ratings, and said how much they love the podcast and love the Midweek Howl. So we appreciate everybody that does that, and everybody that gives us 5 stars on Spotify. We do appreciate. I mean, it's hard. And I think we're going to have our how do I want to say it? Our account manager on from iHeart. Because have we talked that we made the big switch to iHeartRadio?
Well, we were going to, but I don't know. Did you solidify it?
Yeah, we're already switched. So it hasn't.
Well, thanks for telling me. See, that's how fast the entertainment world works. And hold on a second. That tells let me tell you, because there's a few listeners that I talk to, and they'll ask me a question. I say, I don't know. And they go, what do you mean you don't know? And I said, those guys do it all. I don't do any of that stuff. I have no idea. And they think I'm joking. That just proves I don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah. So we did officially moved we were hosted by one company, and now we're hosted by iHeart and Spreaker, who is the pod, host or whatever. They're the ones the podcatcher that puts us out to everybody. So if you listen to us on Apple or Spotify or whatever, it's being sent out there by Spreaker. But yeah, so we're on the Prime network of iHeartRadio podcasts. So I guess we're considered one of their I don't know, considered one of their top podcasts or whatever. I don't know. On
Spreaker or on iHeart?
On iHeart. So I don't know how many there are. I mean, there could be thousands, but we're one of them. But but the lady who basically is our go-to there, she has her own little podcast that she started, and we're going to have her on here in the next couple weeks or whatever. She's got kind of a cool, it's a really short podcast. I can't think of the name of it now. That's terrible. But I've listened to probably 8 episodes. It's only like 6-7 minutes long. And it's really has some cool little facts every time. You know what I'm saying? It's like she picks a subject, like one was on Legos. And it was really a cool little episode. Kind of gives you the history of Legos and that sort of thing. So she's done a whole bunch. I'll see if I can find out the name of it. But she's going to come on, and we're going to get some behind the scenes about podcasting. She's been involved in podcasts since day one. So we're going to get like the history of podcasting and what it means, like downloads and leaving reviews and stuff like that, and how many people really listen. Like we're really going to get so if there's any questions anybody has about podcasting, send them to us and we'll ask her when she comes on. But I think it'll be kind of cool to talk to her, because I don't know. I mean, even though we have a podcast, there's a lot of stuff I don't know, a lot of stuff you don't know. Like, how it all works, how it came to be, and what it all means, But I mean, people love them, And I think people love podcasts so much is because it's got to have taken the place of radio, because you can listen whenever you want.
Sure.
I mean, I think that's it, for sure. I mean, why people love us, I don't know. They do. Oh, the Strange History Podcast. That is her podcast. So I encourage everybody to go check that out, the Strange History Podcast. And listen, you can listen to a bunch of episodes because they're really short. There's some cool stuff. And I'm sure she'd appreciate everybody checking out her thing. There's all kinds of cool episodes. So yeah, go check it out and let us know what you think. How about that? That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Promoting our friends.
That's right. What else is there?
No, and I think everybody does that, promotes us to their friends, and that always helps out too,
Right.
which is crazy. Here you go. I'm looking at some of our episodes. The fun history of the pinup girl. From prostitute to piracy, a woman runs a pirate empire. Boy, I haven't heard that one yet. Did goats discover coffee? The dark history of there's a theme here. The dark history of prostitution from the Sumerians to North America. Wow. Declassified. The CIA sent a man to Mars in the year 1 million BC. What did he see? Now that I'm intrigued by that title. Because our good friend Stacy Brown sent me another video clip, which I'm going to share this one. There's about a county commissioner in Brevard County going before city council, complaining about all the lies NASA is spreading.
Lies about what?
About that our people are not on the International Space Station. We've never been to the moon. That all this video they're putting out there is those guys standing in front of green screens. I think I might have sent it to you.
What does it matter?
You know, it just bothers Stacy Brown. Okay.
Did the guy says that it's lying, or it bothers the guy? It bothers the guy.
It bothers everybody. I think it bothers these guys that NASA is lying to us and getting this huge chunk of money to do space research, and they don't think they're doing it. I think that's what bothers them. You know.
Does he not know about a thing called the Great War on Terrorism, where they wasted a lot of money on lies the last 20 years?
I don't know, but you know what? Maybe Stacy Brown needs to have me and you on their podcast, and we can talk about that conspiracy of
I would love that. Terror. Maybe, of course, it might be a deal breaker. I don't know. It might change me. I don't know.
It might change you.
Yeah, I've got my bandwidth is getting. Maybe the world's getting too much.
The world's getting too much.
Well, I every day I'm intrigued by less and less, right? So I keep thinking that I do a lot of personal introspection, or whatever, where I'm, I play a lot of Xbox, and when I play an Xbox, I think about it causes a 52-year-old man to sit around and play Xbox and talk to dogs. And what sometimes I think is the more I just got less and less time for craziness in the world. You know what I mean? Like my brother will say something and I'll say, how do you know that? He said, it's on Facebook. It's this, it's that. Don't you know? And I said, I don't care. No, I don't want to hear it because I don't care. So my bandwidth is getting, so back to some of these conspiracies, if they come out and said, hey, NASA said, hey, guys, guess what? We've been lying to you the whole time. We never went to Mars. That's a studio in California or whatever they said. You know what I would say? Big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big deal.
I know what a big deal it was to the two generations before ours.
I told my son that the other day that the astronauts, he was talking about Corvettes and something about a big block in a Corvette. And I said, they had when they first came out with 427 Stingrays, the first thing they did was give the first 9 of them to astronauts. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm telling you, that was a big thing to be an astronaut back in the day.
Yeah, they were rock stars. I mean, they were rock stars. And it just doesn't. And is it because we're so self-absorbed in everything that we don't care that we're going or not? Or
that's because you can get on YouTube and be a rock star. You don't have to go to space.
Yeah, yeah,
you don't even have to spell gravitation, much less understand it.
That's true. I mean, it's just
go ahead.
Yeah. Or is it because we just haven't really done anything else exciting in the minds of the average person? Even though I think we've probably done some pretty exciting things when it comes to space exploration without sending people actually send it to people. We've done some seemingly pretty cool things. Is it just that we're not?
Well, I can break it down to you as simple as I know how. Okay. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah, that is true.
So we are a society of people that don't, you know what I mean? It doesn't, the average person is mediocre anymore. So it doesn't take much to be extraordinary. I mean, think about it. Going to work is more than apparently, going to work and writing in cursive is more than apparently half the people in this country can do anymore. Right? And I'm not even talking about driving a manual transmission either. I'm just talking, or how many people that don't even know how to turn the lights on in the car because they're automatic now.
Yeah, me. What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm law. I don't even know when the last time I turned the lights on. I know what you're saying.
Oh. Yeah. And astronauts, that just makes people feel bad about themselves. Did you watch First Man about Neil Armstrong?
No, I have not.
With what's his name? I forgot. Ryan Gosling played Neil Armstrong.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, anyway. Yeah, I would see where that would make a lot of people feel bad about themselves, right? Which is the reason why they don't make movies like that or The Right Stuff anymore.
Because those people were so exemplary that it's hard to attain.
That's it. Yeah, and they were smart and they could, do crazy Neil Armstrong, crazy mathematical calculations with their brain, or if they're real hard, they would use number 2 lead pencil and a piece of paper, and if they were triple hard, they'd use a slide rule, and they could actually, show up and go to work and have some discipline and have some, work ethic and go to the frickin' moon, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that makes me believe those guys did, is because look what those people, the generations before them actually did with a lot less technology, just brain power and sheer will,
Mm-hmm.
Just brain power and sheer will. They weren't worried about how many people like the TikTok.
I'm not, because I'm not on TikTok.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.